What is going on, guys? My name is The Rose. Today, this is the Game Corner Podcast, Episode 7, Part Number 1, for your Saturday, February 17th, 2018. Today, I am flying solo. My buddy Cypher, he's been kind of sick and pretty busy this week. He had food poisoning the other day, and he works today, so he's probably actually getting ready for work now. And he had 2 big college tests this week, so yeah, he's been pretty busy. He's been sleeping a lot too, so hope he's doing alright, hope he's feeling better. And with that being said, I got a bit of a story before we get into this. So last night on the Joe Cronin Show, Monetize This, number 149, I'll leave a link in the description box down below, you can check that out. I caused controversy at the end of the show. He does this thing where if you donate, you can assign points to somebody, and every point is worth $1. So every dollar you donate, you can donate a point to one of the hosts on the show, either Joe, his wife, or one of his 3 co-hosts that are on his Friday night show. And he has this title called the Monetize This Championship Belt. He actually had a physical belt made. And last night was a championship match. And it came down to one of his co-hosts going up against his wife. And his co-host was blowing his wife away. His wife actually fell asleep halfway through the show. Defending champion. Yeah, okay. Anyways, so at the last 15 minutes of the show, he put up a countdown clock. And once that clock hits 0, you can't assign points with donations anymore. So what happened was I donated 100 bits, which is worth $1, and I did it, and I timed it so perfectly that it went off at the buzzer. As soon as the clock hit 0, my donation of 100 bits went off.
You know what's funny is, like, Obama was afraid to say Islamic terrorism, and fucking...
Oh shit, was that the thing?
That's it.
It's over.
It's over.
Good show as always tonight. Congratulations King JB on 100 shows of Monetize This since. Ken doesn't need any more points. I will take one away from Leah instead. Here is your winner. And new champion Ken.
I think he beat it. He might have gotten it. That did not beat it though.
The guy that usually donates for Joe's wife, in favor of his wife, my donation blocked his, and if I didn't put those bits in, his donation more than likely would have went off on time, or at the buzzer like mine did, and his co-host Ken would not have won. I screwed the moon. But there's a bit of controversy here. The controversy is because he donated the $1,000 to assign 1,000 points to his wife, but it didn't go off in time, so he wasn't sure, in the rule book that they had, whether or not he had to either refund the guy his money or what he's going to do with it. But he did figure it out. The guy told him, fuck it, keep the money anyway, so that's good. But if you check this out, at the 2-second mark, you can see that the donation was accounted for. But the donations don't count unless the alert actually plays. So if it wasn't for my bits, well, Ken wouldn't be champion, as far as I'm concerned. And with that being said, let's get into the news. First off, folks, follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Twitch as well. I'd greatly appreciate it. Follow Black Sakura on Facebook. Follow Erin Fitzgerald, the wonderful, amazing voice actress. Follow her on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. All the links are down in the description box below, as always. With that said, let's finally get into it. So the first thing we're going to talk about is Twitch and their rules. They updated their policy. They want to do pretty much what Blizzard's doing. Twitch updates community guidelines about monitoring toxic behavior. It says here, in the wake of some Overwatch League players' controversial banter and Blizzard's disclosure of Searching for toxic players outside of reports within Overwatch, Twitch has updated its community guidelines with a similar approach towards qualifying conduct and harassment that merits banning from the streaming platform. The new guidelines state, since the Twitch community is also at conventions such as TwitchCon, Twitch community meetups, and even on social media, the company will take them into consideration when it comes to our role in keeping the community safe. This means that if Twitch users are caught abusing others via other platforms such as YouTube, Twitter, probably Facebook, Instagram, I'm sure, this will be justifiable grounds for punitive actions. Anything derogatory associated with race, religion, sex, disabilities, and other sensitive issues will factor into Twitch's assessment of who they temporarily or permanently remove. And we have the guideline change here. It was supposed to take effect as of the 15th of February. February 19th. The changes will take effect February 19th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. So these new effects will take effect in just a couple of days. Personally, I don't like this that now, because Blizzard's going to start pretty much stalking people's social media accounts, that now Twitch feels the need to do the same thing. Like, I understand, look, you want to control toxicity, in your community. You want to control, you want to keep control of, behavior, people on your platform so that you don't end up like the next YouTube with adpocalypse and whatnot. I understand you want to keep, harassment and sexual harassment and cyberbullying and everything else, off your platform, and that's all well and good. But as I said with the Blizzard thing, back in episode 4, I believe it was, stalking people's social media accounts, I don't think is right. Because, again, what if, you're joking around with a buddy, on Twitter, or on YouTube, or on Facebook, you're calling them names, you're being a dickhead, you're talking shit, but it's all in good fun, you're joking around. Well, Twitch might not see it that way, boom, you're banned. Or if you don't get permanently banned, you'll get a temporary suspension and you'll lose your right to the Twitch partnership program and the affiliate program as well. So that kind of sucks. I feel there's a better way of doing this. I could understand TwitchCon and Twitch meetups, anything that has to do with Twitch. If it's a convention and it's going to be, they're there in person, I get it. That is completely understandable. Because you don't want dickheads at your conventions. You really don't. But I don't think stalking people's social media is the right thing to do. There's got to be a better way of going about it. There just has to be. And if this is what the internet's going to become, this is really going to suck. I mean, can you just imagine if YouTube starts doing the same thing? I mean, I'm surprised they haven't started doing that already with the 3 adpocalypses now that happened on their servers. I don't get it, man. I really don't. But, yeah, so I'll put a link in the description below. You could check out the new Twitch guidelines that take effect in 2 days. And with that being said, don't be a dickhead online if you value your Twitch account. That's all I can say. ShackFoo, A Legend Reborn will arrive in spring 2018. ShackFoo, Legend Reborn has both a release window and a new trailer. The beat-em-up will debut on the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC in spring 2018. It will be available both physically and digitally. The ShackFoo, Legend Reborn trailer begins by looking back at the original ShackFoo, which was released on the Sega Genesis and the SNES, and that was a god-awful game. Then goes to show some animated cutscenes and gameplay segments from the new game. And for copyright reasons, I cannot show the trailer. So you can look it up on YouTube. It's called ShackFoo, A Legend Reborn. You type that in, I'm sure the announced trailer will be like the first thing to pop up. As a reminder, there is a Nintendo Switch-related promotion for ShackFoo. People who bought NBA Playgrounds for the system before June 10th, 2017 will get a free copy of Shaq 2 Legend Reborn when it launches. ShackFoo will come to the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC, as it raised a whopping $458,884 from 1,339 backers on Indiegogo in 2014. So, the fundraiser for this went on about 4 years ago, and the game is finally done, and we're finally getting it. It's going to release in a couple of months, probably April or May. I don't think it'll come out in June. I think I'm going to say April or May. Now, I'm interested in this because it changed it from a 2D fighting game to a beat-em-up game. I did play the original, way back when, and I thought the game was terrible. So here's to hoping that the new one does not suck. Arc System Works and Swervy65 team up to announce a new game. Arc System Works celebrated the launch of its American branch with a press party, where they revealed a new title by Deadly Premonitions and D4 Dark Realms Don't Die director Hidetaka Swervy Suhiro of White Owls. No information was shared about the game, although we do have a logo. The game is called The Missing, but according to Swervy and Arc System Works, it'll release for home consoles sometime within the next 4 years. So, they have an announcement trailer here, and you can look that up as well. You see, he looks like a child with two monkeys. This is the thumbnail of the video. Looks like he's in some kind of room surrounded by some plants. There's two monkeys and a child as a thumbnail. It says Arc System Works has been very supportive. So there you go. Maybe that's not a child. Maybe that's the Swervy guy. I don't know what he looks like. Looking at this person, I would say he looks like a child. Nothing is known in this game, but we do have a logo. The game is called The Missing, and we'll see it sometime within the next 4 years, which means we'll see it between I'm going to say, definitely not coming out this year or next year. I'm going to say between 2020 and 2022 is when we'll see this game. Probably closer to the latter. Blanca joined Street Fighter V Arcade Edition. Blanca is the second Street Fighter V Arcade Edition character in the Season 3 update, and we now know exactly when he will arrive. Capcom says he will be showing up in the game on February 20th, when purchased either alone for $6 or 100,000 fight money in-game, or you can get the entire Season Pass for $30. He will come with his battle costume and the 3 through 10 color default costume colors. In addition, his story and nostalgia cutscenes are on the way. Street Fighter V Arcade Edition, Blanca's story begins with him living with his long-lost mother, Samantha. It is while he is living peacefully that things are disrupted by a salesman who wants to make Blanca dolls. Something does not seem right, and that is where his journey begins. Capcom has released information about Blanca's V-Skill, V-Triggers, and Critical Arts. These will join the Wild Hunt Command Grab, which lets him leap, attack, and throw the enemy for damage. So he's going to come with a V-Skill called Coward Crouch, a V-Trigger called Jungle Dynamo, and a second V-Trigger called Lightning Beast. His Critical Art finisher will be called Dynamic Rolling. And there's a handful of screenshots here, as well as a character trailer. So, in 3 days, we will get Blanca, the second character for the Season 3 Character Pass, which means there are 4 more characters on the way, 2 of which are supposed to be Sagat and Mike Hagar from Final Fight. So, it is unknown what the final 2 characters are. I think 2 of them are supposed to be brand new characters. 2 returning characters, and the last 2 are unknown, probably crossover characters, I'm guessing. And of course, you can pick up Street Fighter V Arcade Edition for PlayStation 4 and PC as of now. The ESA, the Entertainment Software Association, responds to Hawaii's proposal for legislation on loot boxes. Earlier this week, Hawaii proposed legislation that would liken loot boxes in video games to gambling in terms of the level of psychological addictiveness and financial risk. The bills are led by Representative Chris Lee, who in November announced an investigation into EA's use of loot boxes in video games such as Star Wars Battlefront 2. The first pair of bills aims to prevent the sale of games that randomize digital rewards to consumers under the age of 21, while the second pair of bills would require that the publishers disclose probability rates of obtaining certain items. This legislation has potential to greatly affect games across the industry, ranging from free-to-play titles all the way up to the full retail games like Overwatch, Destiny, and Star Wars Battlefront 2. The Entertainment Software Association, ESA, responded to this proposed legislation through a statement provided by Game Industry Inc. In the response, the ESA spokesperson affirmed its commitment to industry self-regulation, and I quote, "As an industry, we take our responsibility to consumers very seriously and continually work to create greater awareness and transparency about the wide range of in-game experiences. We strongly believe that the industry's robust self-regulatory efforts remain the most effective way to address these important issues, and that system has a proven and long record of doing so. Some consumers and parents may have questions about how loot boxes work, and ESA has demonstrated a commitment to providing information to guide consumers, especially parents, in the purchase decision." End quote. Another Hawaii State Representative, Sean Quinlan, came out in support of Chris Lee's proposed bills, saying that this legislation differs from past attempts to regulate violence in video games, and that it wouldn't affect the content in games, only a specific mechanism by which content is delivered. If even mature and intelligent adults are falling victim to these mechanisms, how are kids supposed to respond? Quinlan asked Game Industry Inc. The series of events comes on the heels of New Hampshire Senator Maggie Hassan sending an open letter to the ESRB asking them to pay more attention to the growing trend of microtransactions and loot boxes in games. Cypher and I have talked about loot boxes in the past, sprinkled around here and there in the past few episodes. Loot boxes aren't always a bad thing. In fact, it can be somewhat fun to play around with. If it does not halt progression in a video game, microtransactions and loot boxes are not a problem. But if you do it like Gears of War, Star Wars Battlefront 2, where your online play is based on the kind of equipment you get in loot boxes or card packs or whatever, as they're called, sometimes called. Let's say, somebody gets a standard gun in a loot box, or a card draw to equip to their character. Somebody else might have gotten the best weapon in the game through the same means. That's not fair to the person that got the shitty weapon because they're going to have a much harder time getting by online. That's a problem. And some games that do gacha draws or loot boxes, like Rocket League, they do loot crates, as they're called. Not to be confused with the actual company, Loot Crate. But they are crates. Loot crates. In Rocket League, they are not mandatory because they are only cosmetic items that you can, customize your battle car with in Rocket League. That's all fine and dandy. Dragon Ball Fighter Z, you can buy Capsule Corp capsules for your characters, and you can get avatar lobby characters. You can get colors for your lobby characters. You can unlock costumes for your characters that you actually play with. Color costumes. You can unlock profile borders and stuff to change how your profile looks. That's fine. It does not change the gameplay whatsoever. But a game, like I said, where it's kind of mandatory, where one guy will get a shitty weapon and another guy could get like the best weapon in the game. It's all based on luck, and then to me, if it's luck, it's gambling. Especially if you're going to spend real money. And this is kind of a thing with like mobile games. A lot of mobile games depend heavily on people spending money. Free-to-play games, they depend heavily on people spending money. Like I've mentioned in the past, I play the Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle game on my phone. It's a great mobile app, and I think in the 8 months or whatever that I've been playing the game, I spent maybe a total of $30 on that game across 3 transactions. And yeah, I gambled because you know what? I didn't necessarily get everything I wanted by buying those Dragonstones to do gacha summons. Now, I did get a couple cards I did want, which was great, but I didn't get everything I wanted, and that's not going to happen, There are plenty of ways, in-game they throw Dragonstones to you. Like recently, they added a new event which gives out 8 Dragonstones, and then if you complete missions for that event, you can get a few more Dragonstones. You save them up. Eventually, you'll get enough for a multi-summon, which will increase your chances of getting the cards you want, rather than a single summon, which will hurt your chances of getting what you want. But a lot of people are impatient, and that's where the gambling comes in, because you'll take your credit card or your bank card, and you'll just buy stones. There are people that have done it. You can look it up on YouTube, and that's what I'm talking about. That's a problem. But if it doesn't, halt progression in the game, if it's purely cosmetic, if it's not going to affect the game at all, I have 100% no issues with that. And that's how it should be. If you want to put loot boxes in a game for people to spend money on, fine. Just don't impact the actual core gameplay because of it. That's how it should be. Alright, so to save some news for tomorrow, part 2, I'm going to end off on this one here. Spyro the Dragon. We may be getting a remastered trilogy of the original Spyro games. Let's see. The Spyro the Dragon trilogy, as suspected, after the massive success of Crash Bandicoot Remastered, which released in June of last year? July of last year? I want to say July. Spyro the Dragon, everyone's favorite purple-winged wonder, will be coming to stores near you in the form of a remastered collection for the PlayStation 4 that includes all 3 main Spyro games, according to Kotaku. Now, Kotaku's not a very credible source when it comes to gaming, so this is a highly, highly, highly anticipated rumor. It is likely to happen, and quite honestly, I want it to happen. I don't expect it not to happen, to be honest, because ever since Crash Insane Trilogy released last year, rumors have been going around immediately after the immediate success of Insane Trilogy that this was going to happen. So I highly see this happening. It is still a rumor. It is not officially confirmed. It is still a rumor. The collection has been worked on in secrecy by Activision and will be officially announced sometime in March, with a release date for the third quarter of 2018. Again, people are speculating it's going to be sometime in September, because that'll line up with Spyro's 20th anniversary. So, Again, highly possible. It is supposed to be announced in a couple of weeks, or within the next month and a half, so we'll see. Spyro the Dragon Trilogy will include Spyro the Dragon, Ripto's Rage, and Year of the Dragon. Like the Crash Insane Trilogy, the Spyro the Dragon Trilogy will have completely rebuilt character models, animations, environments, enemies, lighting, and etc. To be more specific about a possible release date, Kotaku's source indicated September. See there, September again. Which would be around the time Spyro's 20th anniversary. If you're sad that the trilogy will be coming to PS4, don't worry too much. Both Crash and Spyro are supposedly only timed exclusives for PS4, with a 1-year window for release for the respective games on other platforms such as the Xbox One, PC, and Switch. So if that's true, that means the Xbox One, Switch, and PC should be getting the Crash Insane Trilogy in July or in August. And again, if this is all true, Spyro will come out in September or sometime around there this year, with a multi-port release next year, probably around Halloween. So that's really cool. Again, this is all speculation. It's a rumor that can happen for sure. In fact, I would almost be surprised for it not to happen. But that was the news and rumors for February 17th, 2018, guys. Again, shorter podcast because I'm by myself. We're coming close to about 30 minutes here. Again, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Follow Erin Fitzgerald on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Follow Black Sakura on Facebook. Check out everything down below. I'm going to leave the links for you to read the Twitch community guidelines. I'm going to leave the links for you to watch Monetize This, episode 149. It was a great show last night. And I completely changed everything at the end of that show. So, with that being said, folks, my name is The Rose, and until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll catch your ass down the road.